Namaskar children. We have started discussing the parts of a cell in detail. We have already discussed cell wall, cell membrane, cytoplasm and nucleus of a cell. We will be continuing with the topic today and we will discuss the rest of the parts of the cell in detail. Also, by the end of this lecture, we will be able to differentiate between a plant cell and an animal cell. So after nucleus, the next important part of the cell that we are going to discuss are the cell organelles. These are small structures present in cytoplasm of the cell to perform different functions. So the first cell organelle that we are going to discuss is the mitochondria. So let us first understand the structure of mitochondria. It has an outer membrane which is surrounding an inner membrane which has these finger-like projections. This is to increase the surface area as cellular respiration will be taking place inside the mitochondria. So we label the outer membrane, the inner membrane, these finger-like projections are known as cristae. That is the plural form. Singular we call them as crista. The liquid present inside the mitochondria is known as matrix. And it also contains DNA, and ribosomes. Ribosomes are the protein factories which help in protein synthesis. So, now summarizing the structure and composition that we have just discussed, it is bounded by an outer and inner membrane. The inner membrane has finger-like projections known as cristae to increase the surface area for respiration. It also contains a liquid called matrix which contains in itself DNA and ribosomes. Ribosomes, as we just mentioned, these are the protein factories that help in protein synthesis. So the function of mitochondria is that it helps in production, storage and release of energy when required. It performs cellular respiration and produces energy in the form of ATP, that is adenosine triphosphate. That is why mitochondria is also known as the powerhouse of a cell. The next cell organelle that we are going to discuss is the plastid. First, let us try to understand the structure. Plastids also are double membraned. So that means they have an outer membrane surrounding the inner membrane. So this is the outer membrane which is surrounding this inner membrane. And then there are present these single layered filaments which fold themselves in the form of these disc-like structures. Each of this disc is known as thylakoid, and the stack of these discs is called as grana. So as mentioned, each of this disc-like structure is known as thylakoid, and the stack of these thylakoids, this group together, is known as grana. Also inside the plastid is present this liquid content called as stroma. Stroma contains DNA and ribosomes. So these are the DNA present inside the stroma, and we'll also label the ribosome present inside. We had mentioned earlier also, ribosome are the protein factories that help in synthesis of protein. So this is what a plastid looks like. So let us summarize what we just discussed. Plastids are double layered organelles present in plant cells only. We'll be discussing this reason why they are present in plant cells only. Plastids have a liquid called stroma, which contains single layered filaments called thylakoids, and a group of filaments called grana. Stroma also contains DNA and ribosomes. Let us now discuss the functions of plastids. Plastids are of three types: chloroplast, chromoplast, and leucoplast. We'll discuss them briefly. First, let us discuss chloroplast. Chloroplasts are green in color as they contain chlorophyll, which in turn helps them in photosynthesis. Second type of plastids are chromoplast. They are some other colored plastids and they give color to the flowers and fruits. And the third type of plastid is leucoplast. They are colorless plastids and store oil, proteins, etc. Since plastids help in the formation of food, so they are also called as the kitchen of the cell. Let us now try to answer this question, which says why chloroplasts are only found in plant cells. We know that there is a green color pigment in plants, specifically in the leaves, called as chlorophyll, which helps them in the process of photosynthesis. So we'll answer this question based on this fact only. So the answer is that chloroplasts contain chlorophyll, which helps in photosynthesis, and this process only takes place in plants. It does not take place in animals. So since photosynthesis takes place only in plants, chloroplasts are present only in plant cells and hence absent in animal cells. Let us now discuss the next cell organelle, that is the vacuole. So there is a single layer vacuole present in cytoplasm of plant cells, and small vacuoles, many in number, are present in animal cells. They store excessive water, salts, and waste materials inside them. So let us draw the diagram of a vacuole. It has a surrounding membrane, which we call tonoplast, and it contains a liquid which has the excessive water, salts and waste materials, and that is known as cell sap. So this is a simple diagram to represent a vacuole. The next cell organelle that we are discussing is endoplasmic reticulum. You have labeled this in the plant and the animal cell diagrams that you have drawn. It is a network of membrane bound tubes that connect the cell membrane and nuclear membrane to transport substances in and out of the cells. This network of membrane bound tubes can be seen around the nucleus. Also you can see another cell organelle here, the Golgi apparatus or the Golgi bodies. These are stacked membranes. They pack and dispatch cellular secretions to various targets. The next cell organelle that we are discussing are the lysosomes. They are a kind of waste disposal system of the cell, and they help to keep the cell clean by digesting any foreign material as well as worn out cell organelles also. Therefore, lysosomes are also known as the suicide bags of a cell. So children, now we are in a situation to differentiate between a plant cell and an animal cell. The first difference that we observe in both of them is that a plant cell has a cell wall, whereas it is not there in case of an animal cell. The second point of difference is that there is a large vacuole present in case of a plant cell, whereas many small vacuoles are present in case of animal cell, if at all they are present. The third difference is that due to this large vacuole, the nucleus in case of a plant cell is shifted towards the edge, whereas nucleus is generally in the center in an animal cell. And the fourth difference is that plastids are present in case of a plant cell in animal cells. So these are some of the important differences between plant cell and animal cell. Let us now answer the question that why do plant cells contain a cell wall? This is because plants cannot move to protect themselves from unfavorable factors such as temperature change, high wind speed, atmospheric moisture, etc. So the cell wall provides the additional protection to the plant cell. Animals, on the other hand, can move to safe places whenever required. So animal cell does not contain a cell wall.